What's the best luck you have ever had in your life? Worked at a retail store for luggage where it was base pay, plus commission. The other two salespeople were lazy as duck. They made almost no sales, didn't interact with the customers, and basically leaned against the counter sipping coffee and being fake friends with the manager lady. My first week there, I made more commission than they did in an average month. Manager lady was a super bitch. Kept cutting my hours. Said I was making her look bad by making so many sales. Gave me all the shit jobs like taking out the trash every goddamn day, because I was the only male and was stronger, she said, cleaning the bathrooms twice a day, cutting into my sales, reassigning my sales to other people, so it looked more even, she said, etc. I lasted 3 months before the fake friends talked enough shit about, he is stealing our sales, that the manager fired me. 3 months later, I'm working with a company that is flipping houses. We get a call from a landlord about a house they wanted to sell, because the tenants weren't paying and being a landlord was more of a pain in the ass than he thought. When we get there, guess who was the tenant? Yeah, the bitch manager that fired me. I straight bought her house for cash and evicted her. I forgot I had a midterm and missed the exam. Somehow ended up with a B on said midterm. Professor 100% thought she lost your test. As a teacher, I confirm. Not getting crushed or drowned in a farm accident. I was 16 and working in the packing house on a blueberry farm. I went out to the fields with a guy to pick up the berries. The truck didn't have a cab, just a windshield. I was sitting on a fuel tank where the passenger seat would normally be. There was a large ditch full of water on the right side of the road. The driver went off the road into the ditch. I went into the water, and the truck rolled over and came down on top of me. Somehow, I wasn't pinned or crushed and was able to find my way out. I used up a lifetime's worth of luck in that one incident. Applied for a job that was way out of my league, and the pay was more than twice what I was making at the time, and included pension, full benefits, all that good stuff. I showed up quite early for the interview, and had some time to kill, so I sat in the lobby reading some industry magazines. One article was about the top 10 threats to this industry, which I made a point of reading and soaking in as much as I could. Eventually I get called into the interview, and everything is going okay for the most part. This industry and role are both new to me, and I think it may have shown during the interview as a weak spot, but then I get asked, what do you see as potential issues within our industry/business? I was so excited I almost jumped out of seat, and went off in great detail about everything I had just learned. The interviewers were very impressed, and little did they know that had I been asked that exact same question just 30 minutes earlier, I would have had nearly nothing to say. I got the job. As a young, dumb teenager I was free soloing a small mountain without a safety harness. I was about 20 meters, 65 feet, off the ground when I reached what I thought was the top. Turned out the top was still going upwards, and the surface was smooth as a baby's bottom, with nothing to grab onto. I tried to descend, but got myself stuck. After a few minutes I couldn't hold on any longer, I lost my grip, and I fell. I dropped 5 meters, 16 feet, and by chance 2 tiny trees, growing out from a crack in the mountain face, caught me. And they did so perfectly, one under my arm, and the other right under one of my knees. From there I found my way down again, safe and sound. If it hadn't been for those trees, I could have been seriously injured, or dead, as the ground underneath was littered with pointy rocks. I didn't use my luck to win the lottery, but it saved me from a real bad situation. When I turned 16 and got my driver's license, a person mom used to visit in the nursing home gave me the almost new car that had been sitting in his garage for a year as a thank you for all the good things mom did for him. This was a wild string of events that I still can't believe happened. I got a job in the video game testing industry. I got placed on a specific project that happened to have a point of contact that knew my favorite band personally. When the client came to visit, this point of contact mentioned my favorite band, and my boss mentioned that I love them. I was then invited to fly out and hang out with my favorite band. I got a tour of their headquarters and got to spend a bunch of time with them for the weekend. The only thing I had to pay was my flight. It was easily the best weekend of my entire life, and I'm now on a first name basis and VIP list with that band. My car broke down on a 2-lane highway in the middle of the Appalachians, 20 miles from the closest city and with no cell reception. The first vehicle around the bend was my grandfather, who lived 3 hours away. He had randomly decided to go on a weekend trip to the mountains. From breakdown to being picked up was less than 5 minutes. In 5th grade, this kid Lee was trying to land a basketball in the net from over his shoulder. I have no talent for basketball, or sports, or being mobile, but I told him he was doing it wrong and took the ball from him. One attempt, swoosh. Then I walked right off the gym floor like I do that shit in my sleep. It's been downhill ever since then. A new casino opened up near me. So my girlfriend and I decide to go at 3 AM on a whim. She won $700 on a slot machine, then I won $600 on a machine. We then proceeded to leave. Smart people. Pro tip, don't go back. The house plays the long game. I was flying economy to London last summer, and I had the flight attendants tell me to head up to the front of the plane. Lo and behold, the pilot of my flight was my cousin, who I hadn't seen or spoken to in many years. He told me to grab my carry-on, and that he would bump me up to first class for free. And holy shit, was it fancy up there. I won a PS4 from Taco Bell, twice. Edit, I've eaten Taco Bell once per contest since I won the first time. The first time was a lunch bundle I won off a box code I got when co-workers dragged me for lunch. The second was the White Destiny bundle I won with a free code they bury in the rules. I gave that one to a friend so I had someone to play Destiny with. On Friday, my father-in-law was purging and offered my husband a pair of jeans because they were his size. The second I saw them, I was like, duck. 24 hours later, I sold them for almost $20,000. 1933 mint condition, Levi's 501s. Thanks to the redditors over at r/Roddenim for their advice. Bought an ice cream and won a free one, and I redeemed the free one, which contained another free one. This reminds me of a promotion Sprite used to do when I was a kid. You had like a 1 out of 10 chance to win another free Sprite. The way it worked was that there was black text inside the bottle cap that said something like, "You won a free Sprite," or "Sorry, no win this time." The bottles were clear plastic and Sprite is see-through, so you could just about read out the text with a decent eyesight. Free sodas for a broke kid while feeling like you're beating the system was ducking amazing. Too bad they caught on after a few months, and the text became impossible to read without removing the bottle cap. I got hit by a semi-truck while driving 75 miles per hour down the highway. Rolled 6 or so times and landed right side up in the ditch, with not so much as a scratch on my fiance's, or my friend in the backseat's body. Car was ducked though. Edit, due to multiple asks, I was driving a 2014 Chevy Sonic. I'm amazed such a tiny car kept me safe through that. I also won a $1,500 jackpot on a slot machine once. I found a $20 bill at the post office. Since I thought it was my lucky day, I bought a $10 scratch-off lotto ticket and won $150. I was at a large outdoor concert and some dude walked up, said, "No way, it's you, man." He then hands me my driver's license that I didn't know I lost somehow. A friend of mine lost his ID in LA. Like 3 months later, someone dropped it in his lap in Miami. He never found out who. I was holding stock in Delta Airlines, DAL, back in the late 90s. I was going to hold it for the long term, but it skyrocketed, and I made so much that I decided to sell my shares. But then it went up even more and I regretted it. Then I found out that when I tried to sell my shares, I actually doubled my investment. Good day. At a fancy charity ball, I bought 5 raffle tickets for $100. I put each ticket in a different bucket for different items. I won the Chanel purse worth $1,500. Then, I also won the David Yamane diamond bracelet and ring worth $2,000. Same year, I got ticketed and towed for parking in my usual spot at work, because on the 1st of November the parking rules change for snow. I didn't know that. Cost me all afternoon and $400. That night, my friends and I went to play bingo with the old biddies at the church. I hit the jackpot bingo, which was worth exactly $400.